in my defense, this is the darkest timeline. So if really everyone was born in the wrong time right now.
It's not going well.
It is not going well. That is correct.
It's like, I grew up with the atomic bomb. Yeah, we got over it. I'm like, oh, okay, it's going pretty good.
That's great.
You might be wishing for the atomic bomb about now.
Right? I miss those days. Wow.
I missed stop, drop, and duck under cover.
Was that, and that's how you hid from bombs?
Yes, you would crawl under your desk.
Okay, they know that's not going to work, right? Even then, they had to know that wasn't going to work.
You got to give us something.
That's called a false sense of security, Dan. So I'm glad you fell for it.
Well, oh, no. None of us thought that we were going to.
Okay, so even then you were like, well, this is pretty dumb, right? I guess we'll do it, but that's not going to stop a bomb.
Oh, yeah, no. Like, my entire childhood was living in fear of the atomic bomb.
Well, couldn't you just crawl into a refrigerator?
You know,
Indiana Jones.
Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! It's Hey, watch him, yeah!
welcome to Hey Watch It with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
And I'm Tony.
On this show, we watch a movie, then we talk about the movie. It's as simple as that. We'll make it more complex.
It's as simple as that, and yet it usually takes Dan 3 to 5 minutes to describe what we do at the top of the show.
No, I've been getting better, Tony.
You're right. I know. I'm sorry. I'm being harsh today.
We look for terrible movies, and you know what? Most of the times we find them.
We find them. We're looking. You don't have to look very hard. That's the whole thing about Hollywood and this show. You don't have to look very hard. They pretty much just present them to you on a silver platter.
You like see the trailer, and you're like, "Oh, we're going to be watching that for the show."
I fell for this one hard because this is in my wheelhouse. These are some of my favorite movies of all time. Like this genre is my favorite, second favorite, maybe to horror, but probably close to my favorite. And boy, did they do everything wrong. Everything, every single. It's like they've never seen an adventure movie in their lives.
I do not know the bad girls or the adversarial girl's name. I never caught her name the entire movie.
You mean in the movie?
In the movie.
Then I agree.
Her real name's Isa something. She's been in a number
Zalis or something.
She's been in a number of things I've seen.
Have you seen Ambulance yet? Did I talk about that?
Is Ambulance
Michael Bay?
Is that the
movie you should watch it.
That I haven't seen the Scorsese one. There's a Scorsese one
Scorsese.
with what's his name with the Prince of Persia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know
what that is.
Something. Okay, you're saying the
Michael Bay
Ambulance.
directed Ambulance, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Yeah,
Oh,
also
really?
with Jake Gyllenhaal, of course, and also this lady.
It is Jake
great.
Gyllenhaal.
Yes, it's Jake Gyllenhaal and one other guy whose name I can't remember. Yeah, it's great. Great is a bit of an exaggeration, but it's a very fun action movie. Okay. It's like all shot on drones and stuff, so there's some really cool stuff that they are able to do. Yeah, it's Michael Bay, so it's still a little Bay-ish, but it's the more grounded of the Bay films.
Oh, okay. I think I tried to watch Domino at one point.
Domino, sure. Yeah.
That one was just very rough, very hard, very hard. And I just have not really gone back to Bay since I've been like, I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
I think that's fine. I like to give people extra chances for no reason.
Tony, what movie are we watching?
We are watching the Apple TV Plus disappointment, Fountain of Youth.
2025, 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Too long.
National Treasure, I believe it was 2 hours, 11 minutes, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and you know what? That movie, not too long. Because that is very possible to make a movie that does make use of the time you give it.
of his adversaries in the National Treasure movie, does he beat the shit out of or shoot with a gun?
I don't remember anyone dying. I'm sure they do, but it's not. Okay. It's not like this, though, right? Well, because I mean, Sean Bean is the adversary, right?
Yes.
Starts as a friend, becomes the adversary, and I'm sure there are goons that at the end probably don't make it out of that final cave. Yeah, like I'm sure people die, similar to how they did on the staircase in this movie.
People definitely fall to their death in that staircase at the end of National Treasure. That I can't swear to that, but as I remember,
no, like that for sure happens. But
that staircase very dangerous.
I don't think we take out a giant Gatling gun or whatever the hell this thing is and just mow people down. That I don't believe happens.
Okay, I haven't seen National Treasure in a while. I just wanted to calibrate to make sure my memory of it was Nicolas Cage's main skill wasn't beating up hired killers. Having the skills to beat the shit out of hired killers.
No. So there are gunshots, but I would wager.
Yeah.
I should really watch this movie again. I don't think Nick wields a gun. I think the bad guys do and kind of shoot, because the whole point of that movie is he's staying one step ahead of them.
He's dodging the bullets.
Yeah, he's not like, oh, I'm going to stand and fight and murder y'all. I don't think so.
Come on, Sean Bean, I'm going to kick the shit out of you because I'm the greatest.
Knock your teeth out, greatest
kickboxer fighter in the world.
No, yeah, it's
spoilers. These are things that happen in this movie.
I'm going to try to look it up. Is this possible to look up? In National Treasure, Nicolas Cage's character, Benjamin Franklin Gates, doesn't explicitly kill anyone.
Okay.
There you go.
I mean, not that what's his name explicitly kills anyone, but he certainly makes it so people are dying around him fairly regularly, and no one cares.
There's the scene when they float the boat, the sub or whatever. At one point, they're just firing machine guns willy nilly. They crash a helicopter. I mean, that's ridiculous.
They didn't crash a helicopter.
They shot. He's like, "We're hit."
I guess we're gonna have to go back to base, and we have just enough
because we have
power
plenty
and
of time to fly over the ocean for 10 minutes. I don't know. I don't understand how helicopters work, but it's still silly.
They're fine when you shoot them.
They're fine. Like for 10 to 15 minutes, you know what I mean? And then they got to sit down and you got to patch the hole. That's all that happens. You got to weld it shut.
Whip out some Insta-Weld and a little duct tape. Fine.
Little gaff tape goes a long way because they're on a movie set.
Yeah. So this movie
is bad. Thanks for coming by, everybody. I was talking to the wife, and it's not the worst movie we've seen in a while.
Not at all.
But it is, to me, the most frustrating movie because of all of the wasted potential and terrible choices that a movie that should be great and I should love and should revitalize this genre that's been dormant for 20 years is going to do the opposite. People are going to look at this and be like, well, I guess we can't make movies like that anymore because nobody likes them. And like, no, you made a shitty movie and nobody liked it. That's what happens. Try again.
They really, I'm thinking of the movies we've done. We did Uncharted.
Yeah.
Which, it's, and we didn't do The Gray Man, but The Gray Man's sort of in the same sort of place. And they're just sort of wrong-headed movies that they don't understand what the genre is.
And that's weird.
It's not that confusing.
I wouldn't think so.
You throw some people that are in semi-conflict together, and then, in the first act, you do that. You throw them together in the first act or the beginning of the second act, and you have your team assembled. Then they act as a team to overcome a bunch of issues. And then
hopefully multiple, like, what would you call it? Like solving multiple clues. I feel like this movie, they solve one clue.
Did they solve the clue?
Well, the kid solved the one clue.
The kid solved two. Yeah, his kid did two things. The kid. Yeah. And you're like.
And they did nothing.
I looked at the poster of this movie.
Okay.
Maybe after I'd watched, maybe 10 minutes of it, I looked at the poster and I'm like, holy shit, her kid is coming along on the adventure.
On this crazy adventure. Yeah.
And I say to myself, oh, okay. That the only reason this kid is coming along is because we're going to shoot him at the end. And then we're going to have to use the Fountain of Youth to save
to bring him back to life.
This is going to be the whole thing.
Let me be very clear. I assumed the ending would be the same, except for we're not shooting a child, Dan, because that is crazy.
They just bring me on. I'm like,
die. I thought they were going to shoot Natalie Portman because she's the one that's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. Wah, wah, wah. So then you shoot her, and then Krasinski has to choose her over the riches. That's what I thought was going to happen.
But why is there a child there? If you're not going to shoot the child.
I thought the child being there was a bad decision from Jump Street. I didn't think they should have ever brought the kid along, except for the fact that the kid and the redhead were the only interesting characters on that journey. When they have that scene in the cafe, I was like, okay, I would follow this movie, this odd couple of the smart-ass kid and the rich idiot. Oh boy, this is a bad movie.
Well, we'll talk about that scene when we get to it because that scene is a scene from it's a scene from a different movie.
Oh, correct. Yeah,
it is not a scene from this movie. It's absolutely not a scene from this movie. The kid is playing the proper kid character, but Dom Hall is not playing his character. He's not doing anything. He never plays that character. They never were like, okay, you got to play this character. I watched the first 10 minutes or so of National Treasure. He has a whole childhood thing where Grandpa's kind of does it. And then,
Grandpa tells the story, right?
Yeah, and then Dad yells at him and stop being treasure hunters, you
dum-dums.
You dum-dums. Yeah. And then they're in the snow and they go and they find a boat and then they find the ship, under the ice or something.
It's all coming back as you're telling me. Yeah, keep going.
He gets this little seal that he rolls and it shows some words, and then he does a whole thing where he gets things wrong. He says things and then he realizes they're wrong.
Great. Okay, yeah, because he's working it out.
He's working it out, and he's doing a great job. And Sean Bean's there, and this other guy's there. The other dumb guy's like, "I think that's a prison," and he's like, "No." And he's like, this poor guy's pouting. But you instantly see Sean Bean. You're you're not trusting him.
Yeah, first of all, it's Sean Bean. But Sean Bean. You're like, no, something's going on with you, Sean. You're not here for the right reasons.
Yeah. And you got to give us, and not that we're going to get to the end of the movie and go, oh, Dom Hall's the real bad guy, because we realized that about halfway through, because we don't have a real bad guy. We're like, oh, we haven't seen a real bad guy.
Because when you're searching for a bad guy, he's usually right in front of you. So, yeah.
Yeah. When the stand-in bad guys who are actually good guys are literally saying, oh, by the way, I'm not the bad guy, but I'm just trying to slow you down.
Right. Yeah. Very confused. Well, so it's kind of like the Mummy, right? Because they have but people clad that are protecting.
We're going to talk about the Mummy. They have a whole bunch of people that in this thing they have people protecting the secret.
Yeah,
no, they have a group of them. She has a bunch of people that all die along the way.
I mean, I guess that's true, but we don't know any of them. And then,
no, of course not.
And then Stanley Tucci has a key of some. Dan, I'm going to actually need you to explain a bunch of things about this movie to me, by the way, just forewarning.
But the point is, in the Mummy, you have the guys that are protecting it, and then at a certain point, they sort of change sides a little bit. But you understand it. There is a natural progression point where they're protecting it, and they will just shoot you, or whatever. They'll do what they need to do. And then at a certain point, it's gone too far, and they're like, "Okay, we're all working together."
Yeah,
and it's a perfect progression. This movie does not understand that at all.
This movie doesn't understand anything that anyone's ever done before it. It doesn't understand Indiana Jones. It doesn't understand National Treasure. It doesn't understand The Mummy. It doesn't even understand Sahara. Okay? People are like, oh, Sahara's the worst movie ever. No, this is 10 times worse than Sahara, and I'm going to prove it at some point.
I saw Sahara. Sahara's fine. It's not good.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Hold on. Steve Zahn is great.
Oh, yeah. Steve Zahn's really, he, I won't say he made his career, but he certainly showed that he could do what it takes.
Yeah. Amen.
Sahara's a fun movie. It was fun. It was a fun, not special movie. That's what it was.
And that is all I wanted this movie to be. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking. It doesn't have to be great. It just has to be fun and watchable. I just want to be able to put it on for 2 hours and like just chill. Just chill. Instead, I'm yelling at the screen. I'm mad at everybody. I'm Googling people to see if their lives have fallen apart because I'm so upset. Sorry.
Okay, well we're gonna talk about his character.
Let's talk about this movie because it's gonna be long.
We start John Krasinski's character Luke. He's on a scooter. The phone rings.
Oh God!
He's beset on all sides by he's in Thailand. He's beset on all sides by Thai people. Kasem. He's got a painting rolled up on his back, and Kasem's like, "That's not your painting."
So hold on.
Yeah.
So just to catch everybody up. I tried to watch this movie in earnest 2 weeks ago. And at this point, I was like, oh, I think I need to turn this off because I think this needs to be a hate watching. It is this point of the movie.
Wow, that was quick.
And then, but I let it go. And by the end of this chase scene, my wife turns to me and she's like, we have to turn this off. This has to be for the podcast. Otherwise, we're just going to be mad all night. And I was like, you're right. We're done. But so the point where I knew I was going to hate this movie, Krasinski's riding on a scooter, ignoring a phone call without any facial expressions at all, ignoring. Kasem pulls up, and Kasem gives a very. Am I saying that right? Kasem?
Yeah, Kasam, or it's Kasam.
Kasam. Okay. Well, listen, I apologize.
Yeah.
He pulls up, and he has this very funny look on his face while he's holding the phone and redialing. And in that face, I laughed. And I was like, oh, great. This is going to be great. Then we cut to Krasinski and he notices them and there's no joke. He's unable to deliver a facial expression of any surprise, of anything. And then he is charmless in this scene. There's no charm. He's condescending and he's not charming in this scene. Like there's a way to do it. Like Brendan Fraser is very condescending in The Mummy. Like especially at the beginning, right?
Yeah, he's the greatest.
He does it in a way that's charming.
He knows he's the greatest, and he's going to tell you he's the greatest.
And here's the thing: I'm like, oh, I think he's the greatest. I believe him. He's definitely right. Krasinski has no charm in this movie. He's charmless. He's got negative charm. I don't know what the anti-charm, but that's what we'll call it. He's got the anti-charm. And I knew immediately the very first line when he's just like, oh, hey, Kasem, or whatever he says. Hey. I was like, oh, shit, we're in trouble. This guy can't pull this off whatsoever. And Kasem is very funny.
He's trying.
Like all of his reactions are at least jokes. You know what I mean? Like he's doing his best. He's my favorite character in the movie, and he's barely in it. His 2 scenes in this movie are better than anything anyone else does the entire film.
Because that's the thing is, through the movie, they try and convince us that his character has a love of adventure.
But he doesn't.
He doesn't.
I'll just tell you right now. He says it. He says it a bunch, but he does not. He is not enjoying. He needs to be loving every second of the adventure. He needs to thrive on adventure. But he's just grumpy most of the time. He's grumpy, but like thinks he's cooler than everybody. He thinks he's above it, which is weird because it's mostly his plan. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I hate him. And here's the thing. Office people, let me know because I hated The Office. The Office is one of my least favorite sitcoms of all time. I think it's trash. Having said that, I've never actually watched it all the way through. I've just seen episodes and I'm like, I don't laugh at all. Is he charming in that show on any level?
Is he charming? No, I think he's a creature of The Office. So he is like a guy that you understand who like thinks he's sort of better than it, and but he's good at his he's good at his job, and so he doesn't have to work hard at it. And so he just sort of, he's sort of the smart ass, he's just like, whatever.
And which is kind of what he's doing here, but it doesn't make sense here because here he also needs to be like beguiling and like the roguish, you know what I mean? Like he needs to have an edge to him, like an edge of danger, not an edge of anger, which is what he has. He thinks everybody's stupid and he hates everybody and I hate him. He just doesn't have that. He needs to have that spark in him. Like, again, I mean, I'm going to talk about the Mummy, but like Brendan Fraser, he's condescending. He thinks he's above everybody, but he is having the time of his life. You know what I mean?
Let's think about his character versus Benny, who's the guy, the Egyptian guy or whatever. He like beats up Benny. He's huge. Yeah. Benny's little, and he picks on Benny. He's terrible to Benny. He, when they're on the opposite sides of the thing, he's like, "Who's on the right side of the thing, side of the river?" And you're like, that is petty. That is not the bigger man. That's like I'm gonna rub it in. Fuck you. Screw you.
Yeah.
And we love it. We love this character because we know that this guy's going to be put through stuff and he's going to be able to get through it.
And he does go through shit.
And he goes through it.
Like he gets beat up a bunch in that movie.
Yeah. And he's up to the challenge. This guy does not seem like he's up to the challenge, except when they have him, when they give him the ability to defeat every challenge.
Barely even trying. You want to know what frustrates me the most about, maybe not the most, but really frustrated me? If you look at the clothes in this movie.
Oh, I didn't look at the clothes.
They never get dirty.
There it is.
These guys are in the mother frickin' desert. They're going through like temples and shit. Nobody gets dirty. They enter the Fountain of Youth and their clothes are completely clean. I mean, except for Krasinski has a tiny spot of blood where he gets shot in the arm. A tiny spot of blood. I don't know how gunshots work.
He doesn't get shot in the arm. He gets shot in the chest.
Are you sure? Because it has to be the arm, because he's totally fine when he walks around. And
injury.
All he's doing is holding his arm.
Maybe he does get shot in the arm.
Dan,
I
don't
just remember the whole being like
That's the whole
here.
point. I don't know. The fact that we don't even know the answer to that is crazy. Do you understand that?
It seemed like he got shot, right to the side of the arm. But then his arm had a bandage on it.
And his arm has a bandage on it, which we never see anyone put on. By the way,
it seemed like he got shot somewhere and then he had a bandage in another place.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know. They don't know. Nobody cares. It's wild. And anyways, so he's got a little spot of blood. I don't know, maybe 2 spots of blood. Who knows? But the rest of his clothes completely clean. And then he goes into the Fountain of Youth. He's not even wet when he comes out. I don't even understand it. I don't understand anything.
It's not really water.
Well, I'm going to have a lot of questions on that, Dan. So put a pin in that, because I have a lot of Fountain of Youth questions for you.
That was the one. That's the part I got. Was like, wait, what? Wait, what?
You don't understand it either. We're in trouble.
What's the rules? What's the rules?
That's what I wrote down. What are the rules? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Nobody knows.
It's too powerful and people aren't ready for it yet. But someday they'll be ready. And you're like,
what?
Why? Why would they be ready?
But also ready for what? Just to kill the people they love? I don't understand. But let's wait. We'll wait for that. I'm sorry. Anyhow, back to this terrible, boring motorcycle ride that should be funny and is not funny. And this is how we introduce our main character. And he is unlikable.
So he hits the brakes and escapes from the people that are on all sides of him. And they chase him until he gets away to the train station. He calls Murph. There's a plane ready, but he has to go another way. So he has to go to Bangkok, or so he has to get on a train to Bangkok. And then I'll tell you when I stopped liking this movie. Or not.
Oh, great,
when I was like really like, oh, okay. He gets off of his scooter and then runs or something, and then he steals a working man's scooter who has
his entire livelihood on the back.
Has a trailer with like his little food stand, And then he goes and destroys the trailer. The trailer gets completely destroyed.
And that's the point that I like when he steals it. It's like, okay, there better be a way of like this guy gets his bike back or I'm going to be pissed because again, this is this guy's entire life. Yeah. This is how he makes money. And Krasinski just steals it nonchalantly. And we're supposed to be like, ha, that's funny. But then he detaches it and lets it run into the car and explode. That man just lost everything. That man's dead in 2 weeks.
He has lost everything. There was a nice scene where he was riding through the train station. It was good looking. I mean, good looking.
Sure. A lot of this movie looks fine. And I was going to say good, but I don't care about giving it a compliment.
Yeah. Then at the last minute, he jumps off the scooter and then gets on the train. Yeah, the train. And this is when through this movie, I was thinking about his character, and he just destroyed a guy's livelihood, probably destroyed his cart, lost his scooter to him also, which I'm sure someone else is just going to pick up and steal. So,
for sure. Yeah, it's just sitting there. Yeah.
We have the Robin Hoods of the world and the Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones did not go around just wrecking people's lives.
Sure. There's also another big difference.
What's the big difference?
Indiana Jones cares.
He cares.
He's human.
Yeah. And this guy he is just a wrecking ball through the world for really no reason.
Just because he doesn't care about anything.
If his sister was buried in a capsule underground and she was going to die in 48 hours, you can set up bullshit stakes where you're going to make the random person, like Dan could tell you, your dog we've got your dog. If you don't do what we tell us, the dog, I'm not going to say it, we'll do something bad to the dog. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And if people get hurt in the way, I'm going to feel bad about it. And that's a thing you could do in a movie. A character can say, "Oh shit, I ruined this guy's life.
This sucks, but I have to do it."
You have to give us, and that makes once again that builds a character because he's not a character because we never believe in what he's doing. We just don't understand why he's doing all this.
Yeah,
if he's like an adrenaline. Did we ever watch something where the guy was an adrenaline junkie? Did we ever do it? Because there was some other movie we watched and we're like, if you made this guy an adrenaline junkie, I'd get it. This guy's like, if he had a Mark Wahlberg guy I don't like, but if he played an adrenaline junkie, a little bit in the movie where they're flying, he plays like the psychopath, Flight Path, is that what it was? You're like, okay, this is just a freaking weird guy that has to do these terrible things. I believe that more than I believe this character.
Yeah, I still don't totally understand his motivation at all. You know what I mean? Like, full stop. He keeps saying something like, our names will live forever if we discover this or whatever. But like, does he care? Does he really care about that? I don't think he cares about that. One. And he also doesn't care about the stuff. That's my biggest complaint about everyone in this movie. Nobody is like, hey, this is priceless artifacts. Let's protect them.
No.
Natalie Portman kind of does it at the very end, but it's way too late because that's a swing from her character that hasn't cared about anything before that. They stole 6 really priceless paintings and nobody really cared.
They would not care if that warehouse caught on fire and all that was destroyed.
Like nobody like the whole point of National Treasure is that Nicolas Cage is saying you can't steal the Declaration because you will hurt it. I can steal it because I will make sure it doesn't get damaged and I will return it in perfect condition.
He does that, doesn't he?
That's like his whole. Yes,
he takes the responsibility. He's responsible.
Yes.
Nobody takes any responsibility 100%. In this movie.
No, they have these 6 priceless paintings and they're just like, take them. You can take them all, but you have one. There's one more penny you don't have yet. Ha 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 ha! Like I don't care about this. Nobody cares about the stuff. No one is doing it for the right reasons, and that drives me crazy. These movies are all about people that care about these things. Indiana Jones cares about the shit that he's looking for. He wants to make sure it gets to the rightful place. National Treasure, he cares. The whole point is he cares so much he's trying to do the bad thing before a bad person does the bad thing, which is a hilarious. I love that. I think that's very funny.
He does, doesn't he? He does the bad thing before the bad guy can do the bad thing.
Yes.
And do damage. Think about that for a second.
Point. It's about preserving. He's like, it's going to happen either way. I should be the one to do it because I'm going to make sure that it still stands. You're going to destroy it. You're going to be John Krasinski. We need a Nicolas Cage in this movie to prevent John Krasinski from doing the shit that he's doing.
Wow. And I mean, just think about it if you're writing this and you come up with that idea. That's a brilliant. It's
great. Yeah.
It is your character. It's your entire character. He cares more about the stuff than he does himself or anything else. He's like, I've got to do this to protect the thing. Interesting.
Yeah.
He jumps the train. He falls asleep. Now, he has these dreams about this gold mask that his dad was looking for. And the dad didn't find it or did find it. We hear different stories. I watched the beginning of Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom. He gets there. They jump the pit. I mean, it is so perfect.
Oh, sure.
In every way, shape, and form. You're just like there. Yeah. No one will ever make a better Act 1 for any movie, I think, ever. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how of this kind of movie. It's unbelievable. Everything that's woven in there. Him not talking for a long time. We don't see his face. When we see his face, it's because he's finally whatever. Yeah. He turns into that main room where there's a little idol. Behind him, there's a gold round mask. You know this. Mm-hmm. Is this the same mask that they're looking at?
Oh, I didn't even. Oh, shit. That would be wild if it was, right?
It's very similar.
Interesting.
Certainly, they're like in an Egyptian sort of sand situation with that. But I was like, that's kind of weird.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So
maybe it's probably just like a nod because they're like, oh, we're basically Indiana Jones, but better, but they're not. You know what I mean?
He wakes up on the train. Here's Eliza Gonzalez or whatever her name is. No idea what her name in the thing.
Yeah, maybe I should look that up.
Look up her name so we know her name. Yeah. So I don't just call her Girly because I did write Girly, which very, very, very rude, but whatever.
IMDb says Esme.
Esme. Okay, so her name is Esme. I never heard that.
Are you sure? I don't think I've ever heard that in this movie. That doesn't sound familiar to me.
Oh no, I never heard it. I never heard it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, weird.
He probably never learned her name, or which once again, if you're in conflict with someone, let's just do names while we're sitting there. What's your name? Because
doesn't he make that joke? Isn't he like, are we getting ahead of ourselves? Should we start with names? And then she doesn't give him her name.
You got to give the name.
She says his name. Yeah, it's
stupid. Weird. So here's Esme. She's hot.
That's a given. Yeah.
She does they do a whole "you talk in your sleep" bit, which they do later, which never amounts to anything.
No, it doesn't. But they talk about it like it's going to, because I don't understand. I don't get it. Nope. It's not like a joke. It doesn't. They do it twice, I think, because the sister then does it once, and he goes, "People keep telling me that." Okay.
No, we don't ever do it again. We do it
twice.
We do it
what's
twice.
Next? Right? Like, what's the next one? What's the top of that beat? Somebody do it again. Someone tell me what's going on. Nothing. It's just like a weird thing that they thought was maybe funny. I don't know.
It might have to do with how they write movies, where they write them on the fly, and so they do set up things. They're like, okay, we're gonna set this thing up. Well, it's like in case we need to get out some information, and he can say, oh, you said it in your sleep.
Yeah.
Or you said it in your sleep, and that's how we know this. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then you got 2 hours and 7 minutes. So you cut that shit out.
Yeah. It's weird.
She recovers paintings. She's got guys. He makes the things like, I've got guys, and he gestures to these two sleeping monks. And I was like, okay, this could be interesting.
It's not.
The guys jump him. He beats the shit out of them. She attacks him. He beats the shit out of her.
Yeah, he like tosses her in a bathroom and locks her in at the end or something.
Well, he before that, he beats the shit out of her.
Well, to be fair, he's twice the size of her. So.
I'm sorry, but you can't have the bigger dude beating the shit out of a woman.
No, you always got to punch up. You can't punch down.
And he's much bigger than the guys she brings with her.
He's I think he must be very tall. He always seems like the biggest guy in the room to me.
Yeah, and you're just like, well, wait a second. Where's the jeopardy in any of this?
Yeah,
he can beat 100%. Anybody.
Yeah, he's never. Does he ever lose a fight?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I don't think he. Yeah. Which is a problem.
He doesn't lose a fight. It's so weird.
Also, I have a hard time believing that there's no sexual chemistry between them.
You have a hard time believing there is sexual chemistry between them? Is that what you're saying?
I guess what I'm trying to say is, how is it possible that there's not sexual chemistry?
You know what I mean?
Like, it feels like that should be pretty easy because they are both very attractive people.
He is?
And I think so. I think people generally think he's attractive.
I don't find him attractive at all.
But I also think that people used to think he was charming. Maybe this movie has fixed everyone's beliefs and they now realize he's just a fucking goober. But there needs to be a tension between them because he makes all of these awkward sexual jokes to her about like trying to kiss her. And at one point she takes off a piece of clothing and is like, oh, okay, we're doing this. But there's never chemistry between them. I am never like, oh, okay, hello, this could be fun.
She doesn't flirt with him.
No, but I think they're supposed to.
She's uninterested in him.
In her defense, he is uninteresting, right? But there's a point where Natalie Portman is like, I sensed the chemistry between you two. She says it, and I was like, where? When? I must have missed that part because I would love that. And when they're fighting in the library, that should be a very sexy fight. Like, two things are missing from that fight scene, which, I mean, I'm just going to talk about now, is he needs to be protecting the books or she needs to be protected. Someone needs to be protecting the books.
We got to talk about that. Let's talk about that soon when we talk about it.
Dan, I'm so worked up over this movie.
But I'm thinking about both of those scenes. She never flirts with him. He's just like, you're a mess.
He's just a creep.
Yes, he's a creep.
Yeah, he's just a creep the whole time. And he's supposed to be charming. None of this works. This movie sucks.
She needs to rub some blood off of, she needs to do something. She needs to do, and I mean, she needs to do something if you want to play that game. But if the whole thing is he's a creep and she's like, I'm doing a job, dude. I'm working.
Yeah, and that's weird. Stop. It's weird. Like, their relationship is weird. And then at the end of the movie, she kisses him on the cheek. And I was like, nope. Didn't earn it. Didn't earn that at all.
Kissed him on the cheek. I was like writing when that happened, and so I missed it. Thankfully,
she kisses him on the cheek and is like, "I'll kill you if I have to," which is like the closest thing that they've had to like any sort of chemistry. But it's the very last scene.
That was the most chemistry they had in the whole thing because she showed interest.
Right. And she needs to be battling with that the whole time. Like, she needs to have this, like, I'm interested in this guy. Because she also, when she's talking to Stanley Tucci, she's like, no, this guy's different. He's going to do it. He's different. I don't get the feeling that she thinks he's different. She needs to, at first, be like, this is just another treasure hunter. He's an asshole. And then through his determination and charm and being good at his job, she needs to be like, okay, this guy is different, but I also still have to stop you. So I'm torn because I want to have sex with you, but I also need to kill you. I need to have these feelings happening on the screen for me to enjoy it.
She needed a line at the very beginning saying something like, you did not look like this in the photo, or something, just like something where she's all like, she finds him attractive. She has to find him attractive.
Yeah. Like, oh, hang on a minute. Interesting. Yeah.
You are tall. just like with a little inflection in her voice, she's got to be a little thirsty. And it would actually would make the fight scene interesting.
Because they should be. There needs to be a level of sexual chemistry during the fighting. I know that sounds weird, but this is their fault. They set up that relationship.
This is what they want.
Yes. Because Natalie Portman's a sister, so there's no love interest there, which is fine. That's totally fine with me. It is weird because I do get more sexual chemistry between them than I do between him and the bad lady, which is very strange. But, that's on them.
He gets picked up by Murph, who's his guy. He jumps off the train. Murph's going to come pick him up. In the UK, we meet Charlotte, his sister. He has a son. They're getting divorced. She's kind of surprised.
It's all very confusing because doesn't it come out that he cheated on her?
I really didn't like this plot line.
But it matters because they put it in there. At one point she calls him a dog. She's like, he's got dog-like tendencies and humps everything or something.
She did say that,
which is weird because the guy that we meet is like very straight-laced, no nonsense. I don't get dog from him at all.
You got to unbutton a little.
Show a little chest hair, buddy. That's all I need, all right? But something. She does seem surprised in this scene, which is confusing because if he cheated, then she's the one asking for the divorce.
Well, she's saying that they talked about it and worked out once again, this is a scene where you've manufactured stakes that don't make any sense.
Don't matter to the movie.
She says, we'd already worked everything out, and now you're showing up to this with a lawyer. Yeah. To which she would say, we're not having this meeting. Let me get a lawyer.
Because
why is she there?
I'm an adult. I know. I understand things. So,
you walk in there and she's standing there with a lawyer. She should look at it and be like, you're doing an absurd thing where you're like giving her bad information about the situation and then expecting her to sit in the situation and solve the problem. No.
And this is our first meeting with this character. So I'm just so confused on who she is and where she's I don't know anything.
Here we are at the museum where she works, where she is, I believe she might be the head curator, I guess. She's the curator of this museum.
She's definitely important. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know a lot about art or art buildings, but she's very important there.
I do.
You worked at like a wood you put things in
a wood thing.
What am I saying? Put paintings in wood, right? That's what you did for a while.
Put paintings in wood. No, I've worked at museums and galleries and everything to do with the art world. Here we go. She's a curator at the museum. She says, I like what I do. We never see any point at which she didn't like this job. We didn't see her in her office having to do a lot of shitty paperwork. We don't see her. Yeah. We don't see, if I was writing a thing about a museum curator who wasn't having fun, it would be really easy. What you would say is she would say, I thought I'd be actually doing something, but what a head of a museum and important curators do a lot of times? They raise money. That is what they do.
Yeah, that's not very fun.
The head of a museum is a guy that knows how to raise money. He knows how to get money out of rich people's pockets.
Because I need donations to keep it afloat.
They need to. The public walking through the door of the museum is not paying for having those paintings on the wall. They're rich people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, she's there. We're at an opening, and she's just having to hobnob with the most horrible people ever. And he comes in, and it's like, oh, you enjoying yourself? And she's all like, I did not think this is what it would be. Right? She doesn't even give us one line. That's all great.
Yeah.
There's not one line in this entire movie.
From the way I see it, she does like her job. And the only person that doesn't think that she likes her job is Krasinski, and he kidnaps her. And she's like, okay, because even at the end, she's like, well, now you got me fired. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like, I still don't have a job. And that's somehow not a bad thing. I'm so confused. I also, real quickly, I like your idea of it being some sort of a party where there's stuff happening as opposed to the only two people in the museum are her and him.
Well, this movie, and we'll talk about it in Act 3, has a way of just making people disappear. It just not exist in situations. You're like, wow, one of the biggest tourist sites in the entire world. It's closed. That they closed it. You can't.
Super weird.
A site you cannot close is closed somehow. For people to set up machine guns. Like what the fuck?
Giant turret machine guns. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's a weird scene because there should be other people in the museum. And also, if there are other people in the museum, it's easier for him to escape. Yeah. This guy steals a painting and then just runs
for a mile and then just walks out the front door.
There's zero security anywhere? Where is the security guards? Where is anybody but her?
As someone who has worked security in a museum, there are security people all over the place. And you know what they all have? They all have walkie-talkies.
What? He's going down the hall right towards you. He'll be there in 3, 2. Oh, you got him? Great. That's all that needs to happen.
They all carry walkie-talkies, and doors can be closed, and all sorts of things.
Only one door closes, right? When he takes the painting, one door closes, he gets underneath it, and then he's free to go? I don't understand any of this, Dan.
I got to tell you something about big museums. They're big.
Sure. Yeah. There's probably more than just the one room. Yeah. I would guess. I've never been to a museum in my life, but I'm assuming there's more than one room.
I just run out this one door and there's the exit.
and I'm in the parking lot. All right.
And there's cars parked right in front. It's a classic Hollywood thing is, we're going to, they go to the library and they just like pull up right in front of it and I'll get out.
Yeah. Like, no, that's not where you park. You're going at least one block that way, parking, and you're walking, pal.
I'm going to have to watch more National Treasure to see if they do that in that movie, or if they.
I think I'm also going to watch it today.
I know you are.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's there to steal a painting, not to see her. Which, once again, if you were there to steal the painting, why would you involve her? But whatever.
It's honestly, he's a terrible brother. One, she tells him about the divorce and he doesn't give a shit. He's like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Anyway, let's talk about me for a little bit. He is the worst person in this movie. He's awful.
Oh, yeah.
And then, he steals the painting while she's there, like immediately makes her an accomplice on purpose, right?
Essentially.
Like this is him trying to draw her into his web of crime.
I guess.
It's weird.
He runs out, gets in this blue sports car, which they then drive around, which, of course...
Beautiful car, by the way.
Yeah,
wow.
There's no security at the thing, but as soon as he gets in a car, there's...
Well, there's street security, okay? There's not museum security, but you can't be on the streets of wherever they are.
And I guess he turns a corner and drives inside a semi, and they close the doors like we've done in Spy Hunter and a million other things. Ooh.
Spy Hunter's so good.
Spy Hunter, yeah.
Classic.
And here are Murph and Deb, two generic characters that are just there to say things.
They never get anything, Dan. What the hell?
Deb gets shot, and then Murph cradles her lovingly and lays
for about 20 minutes. They call for
longer than 20 minutes.
We'll talk about it later. So they call for a medic. He's like, get a medic over here. But then we cut back after at least an hour of stuff has happened, and they're still laying in the sand. And I was like, where is the medic? She's bleeding out right now.
It's maybe the most awkward staging thing I've ever seen in any movie. Because you're just like, what are they doing? But they can't be part of the action and seem threatening, so they have to just sort of sit there and
cower in the corner. Yeah. No, it's weird.
But it's also not in the corner. It's like against the thing.
It's just the middle of a wall. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely... The corner was misleading for sure, because they're just in the middle of a walkway that everyone has to go up and down, and everyone sees them, and nobody cares.
How's it going? Hey.
Hey, Deb, you doing good? You good? All right, we'll see you later.
We're bleeding out here, but go about your business.
All right, don't worry. Just calm down. We got some stuff to do inside. It's very frustrating because the whole part of having a team is to have a fun team. You know what I mean?
Fun team. Oh, you do comms, you do this, you do that.
Right, great.
You have Jack Black sitting in the van, like eating
wonderful
Skittles
guy
or whatever.
At the keyboard.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, National Treasure has a great team, right? I mean, it's a small team, but it's a great team. These people need to be characters. They need to be characters, and we have to know what they are, what they do, and who. It's so weird to have just random people standing around talking for no reason.
One guy has to
and
drive.
It's Mother's Milk from The Boys. We know he's a good actor. He's on another team where he does shit. So it's very confusing when he's here not doing anything.
He's getting paid, thankfully. So they open up the painting. Nothing is there. He says he does a bunch of things. Oh, you got to forgive me for this. Then he drugs her and then just leaves her on a park bench.
And I really wanted this to be funny, but it's, again, kind of creepy.
You mean leave your sister unconscious on a park bench in the middle of the city? How could that be weird? That seems perfectly safe. Nothing could happen.
How can that be weird? That's totally normal behavior. I don't know, man. This movie's so weird, so bad.
I really thought he was going to leave her there with the painting.
Yeah, well, that would be that would be the nice thing to do, or just maybe bring her back to the museum. Make it seem like she never left, and they just find her in her office, and she's like, "Hello, what happened?" I don't know.
Maybe she wakes up in a locked parked car. Whatever. You could,
but just a random bench. That's bad. That's bad news bears.
So in walks this guy Jamal, who's an agent of Interpol. She says something about his mendacious houndstooth, and it is a blocky line. It is not well delivered.
They have a couple back and forth that they're using big words, and I'm not saying I'm stupid. I mean, I don't understand the words, so I am stupid, but they don't sound like natural words coming out of their mouths. No. And I'm confused on if this is like a joke in the movie where they're trying to use big words that they don't understand, or if it's just horrible dialogue that comes out super weird and they didn't feel like doing another take. I don't know, but it's incredibly awkward. This detective also not charming, which is a real bummer to me. Where are all the charming people in this movie?
The Tooch.
Well, you're right about that. Tooch comes through. I wish he was in it more than about 45 seconds. That's for sure. Sweet cane, by the way. Love that.
Oh, did he have a cool cane? I don't remember that.
Tooch, yeah.
He's like, you gotta buy me a good cane, and I get to keep it.
He probably just showed up to set with that. He's like, I think my character would have this cane, and then they're like, cool, Stanley, you do what you want to do, man.
The rolling door that locked up the room rolls open, and the painting has been returned.
Yep. Have you ever seen Pierce Brosnan's art heist movie? What's that called?
Oh, is it the Thomas Crown Affair? Is it that one?
The Thomas Crown Affair, where I'm not going to spoil it for everybody, but a similar thing happens in that movie, and it's wonderful. In this movie, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
How would they do that? What skills?
The door's down, Dan. They can't just open the door. The Thomas Crown Affair does like a trick. He has a trick in his there. He tricks them. Totally different scenario. It's so weird. It doesn't make any sense. So mad at it.
They're like, just have it be back, and maybe we'll explain it later on in the script.
Right, it's back in the room. How would he get that? Don't worry about it. We don't need to talk about it. He's a magician.
She goes to see her ex. The ex is like, I know everything that's happened to you. You're disgraced. How? We're like, how does he know this?
Does he know that? Who called him? The police, the first call the police make were to her ex-husband. We're like, hey, by the way, if you cared to know, she's an accomplice to art theft now. It's like, what is happening? That That's not what happens.
But there wasn't art theft either. The art's there.
No, well,
So
sort of semi-theft. Well, I don't know what they'd call it, but something happened. All right, Dan? Something happened, and now it's back to normal.
She goes to see Murph, and lo and behold, there's the whole gang. But also there's Owen Carver, the money guy, who I guess is one of the wealthiest guys on the planet.
He's got to be. He floats a whole submarine. Well, part of it. He saws a submarine in half and then floats it. He's got endless money, endless pockets of money. I'm very jealous.
He has liver cancer, and so he needs the fountain of youth to live. Oh wait, she's been fired.
I don't know anything about liver cancer. Oh, sorry.
She has been fired.
Yes, she got fired, and she's kind of upset about it. Enough to talk about it, but not enough to be mad. You know what I mean?
Not really mad.
Right. Like enough that she's like, hey, you got me fired, bud. Okay. So you owe me a Coke.
You know what happens in The Phantom? The one girl punches the other girl, then the other girl punches the other girl. Right?
Amen to that. Yep.
She should have walked in there and kicked him in the nuts.
Let's not go too far, Dan. He'll be dead.
You'll die kicked in the nuts?
You might. You don't know. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like it.
Oh. Yeah, no reaction whatsoever. But she's all like, we're looking for the fountain of youth. And then he does a whole, in every myth there is a seed of truth.
Yeah. Listen, they are very knowledgeable. Like, incredibly knowledgeable. And I understand that that's the trope, right? Like our heroes know everything about it. But for whatever reason, I don't believe it in this movie. I don't believe that they would know these things. I don't know.
They're looking for the fountain of youth. God hid it. He left a bunch of people behind to protect it. The bigger the prize, the bigger the protection. If you go to the fountain, you're gonna get health, wealth, beauty. But so these 6 artists all hid clues, and he's got all the paintings except one, and there's 6 in one, and each of the paintings has a secret letter on it, and he just needs the Rembrandt, but the letter wasn't on the Rembrandt, so he can't solve the cipher. But she's like, oh, you're dumb, because that was a duplicate that Rembrandt made, and the real Rembrandt
is somewhere different.
Yes, it's somewhere different. And she's all like, but she's like, I don't really want to help you because I'm afraid to lose your son. And then we get one of my favorite lines in the movie. The wealthy guy, Owen, says, oh, I have a whole army of highfalutin lawyers. This is a line you can give a guy where you can establish his character.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly wealthy. I have lawyers in every city in every world. Make him something. Highfalutin lawyers.
Which almost for a second made me think to myself, well, he's not rich. Because that's not what he would say in that moment. This is what someone who's pretending to be rich would say. So I thought the twist was going to be something like he stole a bunch of money and is doing this to steal. So I didn't know, but I was like, he's not rich. But I guess he is.
So they have to go to this library to look up. Why do they have to go to the library? Is this for the Devil's Book? Wait,
I don't know, Dan. I don't know.
Oh no, I don't know. For whatever reason, no, they know it's on the Lusitania, I guess. But he goes to a library for some reason, and then boom, the lady from the train is there. Esme, I think her name was. And he tries to kiss her.
Which is so awkward.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, okay. So they just set up this. All the scenes with her feel like they were filmed at different times.
Yeah,
they don't make any sense because this one doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, we got to bring her in to do something. She doesn't go to do anything. Nothing changes because of this. But they sort of banter, and he tries to kiss her, and she's like, "We will stop." She says, "We will stop all of you." And I was like, oh, shit. That means that her people are going to hurt someone. Deb or Murph has to die. Really has to die.
or at least be in real jeopardy.
Yeah, they have to
you know what I mean?
They have to take someone of them out.
Yeah,
and then the scene just ends. What? I don't know.
I didn't write anything down about this because this movie is terrible. But this, just real quickly, he's very rapey, right? Because she's like having a conversation, and all of a sudden he's just like, well, should we kiss? And then he just leans in and just waits for her. And it's just like, this isn't charming or funny. It's just weird. Everything they do together is weird. I don't know. I don't like it. There's a scene. I spent a lot of time thinking about James Roday, or Rodriguez now, I believe he goes by. I apologize. He's the guy from Psych who plays this type of character in that show. He's the smartest guy in the room always, but he's also like self-deprecating and funny and clever and charming. And there's this scene with him and his eventual love interest where she is fighting the attraction because they work together professionally, and he doesn't really care because he's a boy and he just wants to make out with the girl he likes. And there's this really great scene where he leans in to kiss her and she doesn't lean back, and he stops where like their noses are touching, and he continues to have the conversation as if like this is like a normal thing. And then she's like, why are you so close to me? It's like, and it's just like a really nice moment. And it's the same idea, but not creepy. And there's a way to do these things that is not weird and creepy, that makes your main character just look like this weird horn dog. Like, I don't know. I hate everything they've done.
You have her give a signal, or he can misconstrue a signal.
Absolutely. Right? That happens all the time.
She can say something and then he's like, oh, so you want to kiss? And then she's like, what?
No,
is there something wrong
definitely
with you?
Not. What are you talking about?
And that's the thing. She doesn't really even call him out on it, does she?
Nope. She doesn't do anything, and he doesn't have that moment of self-reflection where he's like, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot, and like make a joke about it or whatever. They just don't. It's just weird. It's just like, well, at this point, this character would probably want to kiss you, so just do that, and we'll just go to the next scene. It's all weird. None of it makes sense.
Everything's done in half measures. It's almost like they filmed one person in one scene and the other person in the other scene. And they kind of like that Flight Path movie. The call is coming in. Nobody's talking to each other.
Nobody's talking to anybody.
He goes to see her kid play. The kid's playing. Oh,
God.
He does a bunch of cheering when the kid finishes. The kid runs up to him. The kid idolizes him. I like this. I kind of like this scene because you really were like, kid would idolize him. Yeah, I mean,
100%. If this guy was what they say he is, but he's not. You know what I mean?
Well, you make him idolize the real thing, and then the kid has to find out. And then you have this huge emotional moment at the end where the kid is like, you're not this like charming guy that is out for adventure. You're selfish. He has to have that realization. You could have built this whole movie around the kid's dreams being broken by this guy.
Yes. And then he has to redeem himself in the eyes of the kid at the end. Yep. Great. That makes sense. This movie doesn't make any sense at the end. I can't wait to talk about it because I need you to explain to me.
They don't do anything.
So this is my least favorite part of the movie, Dan.
This is your least favorite part of the movie?
Let me explain why real quickly, because I think it's an almost scene. It's the closest they get to a real scene in a real movie of this genre, right? Because I agree with you. Everything is done semi-correctly, other than the fact that he's not the right character. But he stands up and he's cheering, and he does the ollie, 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 oi, oi, oi chant, right?
Yeah.
He needs to say, ollie, ollie, ollie. And then another dad sitting with like a mom has to go, oi, 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 and then get in trouble with the mom. There has to be this call and response. He can't just do the ollie, 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 oi, oi, oi by himself. That's not a joke. That's just like a weird guy doing a weird chant at an inappropriate time. Make that a joke. It's a very easy joke to make. And it would happen. That would be me. If somebody did ollie, 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 I'm going to say oi, oi, oi for no reason other than I'm an idiot. I don't know. I was just like, you can't even get like your one good scene of the movie. You can't get it right.
But when he has that little straw hat on, he is charming.
No, he's handsome. Okay.
Handsome. He's handsome.
He looks the part. And that's the whole thing, right? Like, I do think he looks the part. I just don't think he has the playfulness in him to pull off this type of charm.
Well, it'd have to be there, and someone would have to direct it. They chose not to have it be there.
Yeah. They decided not to do either of those things.
So here we go. What has happened is, in 1 hour, what they've done is they've set up a boat, and the Lusitania, which is like the Titanic, it's on the bottom of the ocean. They've cut a whole section out. Yeah. They've got inflatables to bring it to the surface.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's them, if it's the rich guy doing that, or if it's someone else doing it.
It has to be the rich guy because we don't know anybody else. We don't know or see anyone else. So it has to be the rich guy. I have no idea. This blew my mind. I was very impressed with this rich guy.
So they've set this up. They're like, oh, well, there's a storm coming, so we could do it now, or we could do it after the storm. And it's like that 24 hours would kill us all.
Right.
So
like, I guess it's too long for my cancer. Not to be rude about cancer, but like, you could wait through the storm. But also then the storm doesn't really do anything. So what's the point of bringing up the storm?
We've raised the Lusitania. They take a boat over. They go through the doors. They talked about the weird Ecuador mask some more. They said Ecuador, didn't they? They did say Ecuador.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But in the memories, it's like sand. I mean, not to say that
I've never been to Ecuador. I can't comment.
I have been to Ecuador, and
wow,
I'm sure there might be a desert there, but it's mostly jungle. But the thing they show is sand. So, but I mean, also,
maybe it's quicksand. That's in the jungle.
Tony, you have one thing to do: look up where the beginning of Indiana Jones occurs.
Copy. Temple of Doom. Are we talking?
No, the good one, the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Got it.
The only one worth watching. I mean, you can watch the Sean Connery one once. I've only ever seen it once. It was fine.
I've watched it a bunch.
I know you have, but it was fine for once. Especially when he does the umbrella with the birds and kills the planes with the birds. That was you see that scene and you're like, who the fuck wrote that scene? Yeah,
okay.
Bonus.
So now I'm gonna look stupid. And I don't want to look stupid, but the Raiders of the Lost Ark the beginning takes place in the South American jungle. But South America has like a bunch of countries in it.
It does.
Is Ecuador one of them?
It is one of them.
Okay, so maybe it's the same. All right.
Same mask. Okay. So that's their
So are they saying that Indiana Jones is their father? Is that where we're going?
No, but Indiana Jones didn't pick up that mask. He skipped it.
That's true.
He walked right by it. He's like, yeah, fuck that shit.
That's true. You're right. So it's just like a few years later, somebody else stumbled upon the same thing. Got it.
What you need to do now, Tony, is you need to look
up. There's a lot of homework.
The name of the tribe, which I think was the Houthis, Houtis.
And the Blowfish?
No, that's Houthi, Hootie, Houthi. Houthis? Maybe it's the Houthis. Look up what the name of that tribe is at the beginning and then see where that tribe is distributed. Okay, back to the movie. So we find out the guys on the boat, they get a radar signal.
Jovitos?
Jovitos, that's what it is.
Okay.
See if that's real.
The Jovitos themselves are fictional. They are depicted as descendants of the real Chachapoyan people in Peru.
Peru and Ecuador right next to each other. So, okay.
Okay, I'm feeling like it's a yes, Dan.
We may be the only ones that have cracked this.
Discovered this. I mean, basically, we're in our own adventure movie right now. We're solving clues better than this movie.
Better than this stupid movie. So, boom, here we go. They get a radar contact. There's a helicopter coming in. Great. Of course, their comms no longer work.
So this is my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
I feel bad because I don't know his real name, so I'm just going to keep calling him Mother's Milk. What's his name in the movie?
Murph.
Murph turns to Deb and company, and he goes, "We got to raise them on the radio." then picks up the radio and goes, Luke, come in. You don't need both of those lines. You can either say, we got to raise him on the radio, cut the scene, or just have him pick up the gosh darn radio and try to reach him. We know what he's doing. You don't have to say, I'm going to reach him on the radio. Hello, I'm trying to reach you on the radio. I can't reach him on the radio. Are you coming in on the radio? What is happening, Dan? Why is he explaining and doing?
You got to get to that 2 hours and 7 minutes. That's where the real money
We got to get that extra 30 seconds where we can, everybody.
They're wandering around. She's like, navigating from a thing to navigate. They're trying to find like the purser's office or something.
Yeah.
And she's all like, it's right through this door. Okay. She's like, it's right through this door. Now, it's a big double doors. On the other side of them, there is light. Right?
Yeah.
Which means it's going to take them back out on the deck. And she thinks that's the office. And he looks up and he sees a sign that says, this is the office we're looking for.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, she can't.
What the fuck?
Dan, she's a woman. She can't read a map.
This is a character trait we have never seen in her. We don't need to see in her. Yeah.
Nope.
I don't understand. This one baffled me. It's just like, why have we written this in?
Just the one?
I mean, of many, you're just like, I don't understand. Why?
I don't understand at the beginning of this scene where she pulls out the map or whatever, and she's like, follow me. Can you get the door for me, please, and go first? It was a weird exchange because she says, follow me, and then sends him in first. It didn't make any sense whatsoever. So dumb.
I love it. They get in there. They drink some booze. Here comes the hell. They drink some booze. They got the safes. He starts opening the safe. She drinks some out of the windshield cabin. Here comes the helicopter, and they're looking at the helicopter and they're like, "Who's that?" And the rich guy goes, "I don't know." Well, I mean, why would you know?
He doesn't.
I mean, I guess it's like, why? This is okay. Whatever.
What's the point? Why is that in there? There's no reason to put that in the movie. We all know nobody knows. Again, you don't have to say who is that and then have someone say, nah, I don't know. You can just say who is that. Like, we know you don't know.
He can look up and say that's not one of mine. To which Murph says, "Oh man, we got to get them on the radio." They repel.
And then he says, "Hey guys, I'm trying to get you on the radio." So stupid.
They repel 3 people down who start searching this thing for them. They get the safe open. They find the box. They pry open the box. And wait, did we miss my favorite line? Okay, wait, we missed my favorite line. My favorite line in the whole movie. This is what Charlotte says to Luke. Don't take anything that isn't yours. We're not thieves.
We're not thieves, but make sure you grab the thing we're here to steal. You know what I mean? Like, those are the two. Like, we're only here to steal one thing.
What is happening? And so he opens the box.
If you're only there to steal one thing, you're not a thief, okay? Because you have a target, and you're going to take if you take a bunch of things, then you're a thief.
In the box, underneath the painting, which is wrapped up in like oilcloth, so it's safe. It's in a waterproof safe.
Waterproof safe. Yeah.
We know how well that would work over time. All those rubber gaskets will last forever.
Yeah, that's why they made them that way, right?
Yeah, that's why they made them that way. Rubber never degrades.
No.
I got this pad of paper in the mail, decorative paper to use for a project.
Yeah. I love it.
I'm probably never going to use, but whatever. And it had like a clear sticker that sealed it, so it wouldn't go flopping around. Yep. Peel that sticker off of there. Fucking gunky shit everywhere. I had to clean it all off and do all this work to get. But it's like, this is something that's made in the past 5 years. And
it's pretty recent. It's obviously not right now, but it's pretty recent. It's not at the bottom of the ocean.
It's not at the bottom of the ocean. Okay, so he pulls the painting out of the box and is almost ready to open it up in the dripping wet thing.
Yep, just doesn't care at all. Yeah.
But there are jewels in there too. And she wants to seal them, and she like slaps his hand away. She doesn't. They're stealing from this box, but she doesn't want him in this one scene stealing those things.
Like you can't steal more than one thing. See, if you steal one thing, it makes you a collector, Dan. If you steal multiple things, you're a thief. Everybody knows the distinction. No, it's super weird. It doesn't make any sense. They're literally there to steal something, and she keeps talking about not stealing things. It's very weird.
The airbags start failing. We start having the Avatar boat. The bad guys start shooting machine guns. Everybody fights.
Everywhere. They are spraying machine gun fire everywhere.
Okay, Tony. Actually, this whole sequence is my least favorite thing of this entire movie.
I can buy that.
There's a
I need you to explain it to me. It's the only slow-mo with words in the whole movie. There are random slow-mos, which I think are terrible.
There are? Okay, I didn't know
There's a couple, but they're all just during action scenes, which kind of makes sense because people do that. But this time slows down and he talks in slow motion.
For no reason. This not giving any
important information. As far as I know, there's no reason. I thought maybe the wine was doing something weird or whatever the booze they drank was doing something weird, but then it goes back to normal and there's no side effects. I don't understand what's happening. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I don't know.
I need you to figure it out, Dan, because it's the most annoying thing because it just keeps nagging at me. Why would this happen in the movie? It doesn't happen at any other time in the movie.
I think it's something that happened in post and they just didn't fix it.
You think it was on accident? The editor actually hits the jog wheel and turns down the speed on accident and then they just leave it in the final cut? That makes perfect sense.
The lady gets her and then she escapes or something. I don't know. And then
so what happens is she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna put a gun to your sister's head," and he's like, "No, you're not." Even though you guys all just tried to shoot us hundreds of times with machine guns, you're not really gonna do that. You're not gonna put a gun to her head, even though you just shot at her a bunch of times. You're not gonna put a gun to her head. It doesn't make any sense.
And then somehow she gets free, and then the boat
because he called her bluff, and the boat you know.
I don't understand. She's the protector, right? Can't she just kill them?
Yeah. Yes. I thought that's what they were there for.
I mean,
they had machine guns, Dan. Machine guns, and they're shooting them.
Couldn't they just machine gun all the buoys, and it would just sink back into the thing?
Well, isn't that kind of what happened, but just on accident?
They don't say that.
Oh, sure.
The things start popping before because it can't hold the weight. Don't know why you do
the three extra people.
Yeah. So basically, our people escape. The three people that rappelled down, ostensibly all dead.
Probably
dead.
drowned. Yeah, for sure. They didn't have anywhere to go because that chopper had to go back to the mainland because it was shot in the tank or something.
So those jewels that they didn't want to steal, that she wouldn't let him steal. What happened to them, Tony?
They're floating in the ocean now because the container is open. So they probably came out and now they're just
sealed room
somewhere. They came out of it? You're right. I'm sure you're right. It's probably just in the room then.
What's going to happen when that big hunk of the Lusitania falls down through the ocean?
I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to kill a fish.
It's going to land on all the other parts of the Lusitania and fuck that site all up. They have come and just destroyed.
Because that's what they do. They destroy everything they touch. They don't care. That's my whole point. They don't care about any of these priceless artifacts. They're terrible people.
Okay, they go back. It turns out that the real rich guy has hired her ex-husband to go to Japan so she gets to have the kid.
Super weird. Why would he accept that job?
Because he wants a job?
Sure, but I assume he has a job of some sort, right? And now this is just a better job?
Better job. No one in America has ever not taken a better job.
But, well, I guess you're right about that. But he was just arguing over custody of the son, right?
He didn't really want it. He just wanted to argue because he's probably a lawyer.
You mean because he's a dog? Because he's a dog-like tendencies? Dogs. I don't know. This character doesn't make any sense. It just does what they need it to do at the time they need it to be done. That's it.
So we've got all the numbers. This is when she said, "What's with that lady?"
Yeah, there's like a tension.
She says, "You mean that weird, the one with the weird dysfunctional chemistry? Weird dysfunctional chemistry." Yeah. They didn't have any chemistry in that scene, did they?
They didn't have any chemistry at all, let alone dysfunctional chemistry. I would love for them to have some dysfunctional chemistry because that would be a nice push and pull, right? But they don't.
We do an anagram, we do a code, we do constellations, we substitute V for W because these super smart people, well, in Latin, V and W, but anybody,
sure, that's what they said. I don't know.
Anybody that has the most minor classical education will know that. I know that.
Listen,
I'm not an idiot.
I have a class of, what did you say? Classical.
You do not have a classical. No, you don't.
Education from Supernatural. They speak Latin in that show all the time.
There you go. They speak Latin. Yeah, we in our high school, you have to take like a language. And all us nerds took Latin. We could take Latin in our school.
I don't believe Latin was still an option when I went to school. I think it was just the three big ones: French, German, and Spanish.
It was very specialized, and I don't know how we had it in our school. It was the greatest thing ever. But you had to go up like the secret back stairs, and on one side was the typing room, and then the other side was like. It was.
Hold on.
I don't know if it was a broom closet or whatever, but it did not feel like a real classroom. It was just like.
Can we also talk about the typing room, Dan? I mean, that's classic. That is great.
I will always say this: taking typing in high school, most important class I ever took.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Comedy. But
did you take that as well? Yeah,
I wish I had. Would have been great. But yeah, typing, most important class. I hated it. I don't know why I took it. I think you had like this one little slot that you had to fill, and there was something even more terrible. And I was like,
even worse.
Oh, I guess I'm going to take typing. And it was painful to do it because you had to take it with like normal people. Everyone in the typing class was normal, and I'm like Mr.
Dan Goodsell,
Mr. Higher Education shit. I was always taking AP classes.
Oh boy, not with the normies.
As in with the hoi polloi. Okay, so they figure out that the 6 masterpieces, whatever, they figure it out that they got to go get this Wicked Bible. We're never getting
something about a king and then a Bible.
It's gonna be a 4-hour episode, Tony.
I know, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
So they got to go get the Wicked Bible, where it says instead of "Thou shalt not commit adultery," "Thou shalt commit as much adultery as possible
as you want." Hey-o,
and
King James.
King James, he's like, animals are available.
Do you think this is real?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but it's pretty cool. I wish I had one of those. Yeah, it'd be a cool Bible to have.
I wish I had one of those because I'd sell it.
Well, that's true, Mr. Collector.
Okay, in comes Interpool. Oh, you got all the stuff. And then in comes Kassam. He's like, you got all the stuff.
And he's great. He elevates this scene so much. He comes in and he's like, "You think I'm dumb? I'm not dumb." And I don't. This guy is playing it right. He is the perfect character in one of these films, and nobody around him is giving him anything. And I hope he gets a bunch of work after this. I don't know anything about this guy. I hope he works a bunch. He's great. He's wonderful.
There it is. Put that on your CV. Luke is like, "Let the 4 of them go, and then I'll tell you where the Caravaggio is." And he lets the 4 of them go, and then he gets everyone to start killing each other. And
he just turns up music. He turns up music really loud, as a diversion, I guess.
Well, just to, make everyone start shooting.
Sure, yeah.
The Interpol wins, but they escape on a boat. He has a dream about a glowing glass. Now they're on a private plane.
It's not a dream. It's like a premonition. Can we talk about that yet? Or should we wait till the end?
We're going to wait till the end.
All right, you got it.
They get on this. This is another point at which I was just like, this is not right. They're on the rich guy's private plane, which is just this set in Burbank where everybody just sits there. It doesn't move. They don't put it even like a little bit of a hum. They don't,
They don't, no shake. There's nothing. Like, you have to add something. Otherwise, you're not on a plane. We've all been on planes. It's not nothing. right? Like you feel like you're in a plane.
And it sounds like you're in a plane.
I have to do sound canceling headphones or I just like lose my mind.
Do you? You don't like that noise?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's a frequency thing. I honestly don't know, but like it drives me bananas.
And one thing I like about air travel is taking off because I always fall asleep and it's the greatest sleep ever. Taking off sleep.
Wait, hold on. When do you fall asleep? Like during the takeoff? Like when the G's are pulling you back? Yeah. That's what you like?
It's just so nice. You're like at this perfect angle. And you got the G's and you're just like, oh, this is so good.
You like a little pressure on your chest. It's like a comfort blanket for you.
It probably is. It's probably like the weighted blanket. Because I love it.
That's what I meant.
I always fall asleep on the takeoff for like about 10 minutes. And then I wake up. I'm like, oh, that was... And it's really nice sleep. You're just like, oh, this was good.
For 10 minutes. Wow. Yeah, a little cat nap for Dan. I love it.
It's beautiful. Charlotte's boozing. Our family name needs to have relevance. To which I wrote, huh?
Why? Who, what, where, when, and why? I don't understand.
They go to Austria. They go to the Austrian National Library. They pull up right in front. They're welcomed by people. The billionaire and the kid go for lunch. He's a musical prodigy. So you're rich. Do you own I own a... Okay, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
He says, I own 2 boats and planes. And then... He's like, I have 2 planes. You saw my one plane, and we're going to see the bigger plane later.
We're not.
We never see the bigger plane.
The kid was going to see it. We're not going to see it. Don't worry, Dan.
But isn't that a setup for the movie that we're going to see 100%. A bigger plane later?
Yeah, because he's like, you've seen my plane, but I have a plane. Yeah. But we don't get to see it. You don't need to see it. You can imagine it.
And then the kid says, are you satisfied? And he says, of course not.
Yeah.
This is the point at which we have to realize he's the bad guy.
Yeah, for sure.
We have to. And we do not. He plays this guy as cool, charming, gets along with kids, super normal.
Which is frustrating on 2 levels for me, because on one level, it's frustrating because this scene right here is like the level of charm that's missing from the movie.
Yeah.
These 2 characters have it together, but only together.
Yeah.
As soon as either of them interact with anyone else, they're back to shit. So I'm very confused on why this scene works. But also, he shouldn't be in this scene. So it's like double frustrating for me.
It's very bad. They go through the secret door. The
secret door.
They
in the library. Everybody loves a secret bookcase door, by the way. It's the best.
Esme and the bad guys show up and they take over they block all the exits. And then they're doing the thing to the Bible, scanning it and whatever they have to do. They have X amount of time.
Yeah, you don't need to know what they're doing.
So for an unknowable reason, they're in the secret room that none of the bad guys know about. And so what does Luke do, Tony?
He goes outside.
Why does he go outside?
He's he feels stifled in the room. He wants to go check out the other rooms. I don't know.
There's no reason for him to go outside.
No, there's no reason, but he's like, you know what? I'm going to step outside the secret room and go back to the main lobby of the library here just to see what's going on.
And get in a fight.
Yeah.
And what consequences does the fight have?
Well, they stab a book. That's not good. Nobody cares. There's probably a 300-year-old book and nobody cares that they just destroyed it. And then he hangs the girl upside down.
There's a great movie, which I can't think of the name of.
Oh.
Sean Connery and this kid that's a writer. And Sean Connery's like a reclusive writer who's been in his apartment forever. And, that's gentrified. So this kid's a lower class kid. And then he starts teaching the kid how to write, or teaching him, helping him with his writing. The kid's a good writer already. But at one point, they do a whole thing about soup and all this stuff and about information and how there's information that you want and then there's information that you need or something like that. I don't even remember what it is.
Well, this is Finding Forrester.
Finding Forrester. Great movie. Yeah. Incredible movie. 10 out of 10 movie. But the point being is a movie, every scene in a movie has to propel this thing forward.
Yes.
With information that has to be gathered, things
Otherwise,
understood.
you cut that scene out. There's no reason for that scene to be in your movie. If it doesn't move it forward, you're stagnant. You get rid of it. Cut it.
The scene has there's no reason. It just adds time. It doesn't move their relationship forward.
But it should.
It should and it could, sure.
It should move Krasinski and Esme, Luke and Esme's relationship forward. This fight should be full of sexual tension. And somebody should care about the books. And we should learn a little bit about someone's character. And then even when they win, they're kind of like, sorry, I had to do it. I got to go. Love you. See you later. There has to be a building. Their relationship should at least move. It's not going to move the plot forward, right? And that's okay. Not every scene needs to move the plot forward, but it does need to move your characters forward. And if the end of this movie, she kisses him on the cheek because they have some sort of relationship, that needs to build somewhere, and it's not building.
Nope.
Very frustrating.
They go through the floor and walk out through the sewer.
No, they blow up the floor. They put an explosive device in this really old, beautiful Austrian library building. Nobody gives a shit. They set off an explosion and go through the floor. That's ridiculous. Are we in trouble?
Shannon's here. Are we in trouble?
Hi, Shannon.
For what?
I don't know. You chased the dog in here?
No, she wanted to come in.
Oh, you wanted to come in? Oh, hey.
Oh, she missed you, Dan.
I mean, she was here the whole time, and then she just left like 1 minute ago. There goes Shannon.
Bye, Tony.
She was like, I told her we were starting at 9, and she was all like, you should start at 9:30 and let Tony sleep in. And I was like, no.
No, not today.
She's like,
no, it's all right. I was up anyhow.
She's like, you're mean to him. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, well, she's right about one thing, Dan.
Yeah.
You're mean to me.
Yeah, it's true.
Poor Tony.
Somehow the bad guys know that the rich guy and the kid are having lunch in this place, so they send a thing over there. And what does he do to those guys? Those
just
train
kicks
killers.
the crap out of them. Just not even like he beats the shit out of them. So much. He's more efficient as a killer than anyone else in the movie, and we only get to see it in this one scene. And I was like, what? What just happened? Why did he kick the crap out of everybody? He doesn't even break a sweat, and he viciously beats these guys up. It's not like, I won the fight and we can escape. He knocks them out. They are on the floor in pain, and he's just like, all right, cool. Let's head out. It's a weird scene.
He says to the kid, don't tell them that I did all this.
Right, which doesn't really matter because this isn't why you're a bad guy. At the end of the movie, you don't become some sort of kung fu master and kill everybody. It doesn't make any sense. This doesn't lead to anywhere.
It could be if you had a movie. Then they get back there and the kid rats him out instantly. Why does the kid rat him out instantly?
Because he's a kid, man.
No, but I mean, why? Why
kids are stupid. Kids are stupid.
It just doesn't mean anything.
Nothing means anything. And they don't even care like that because that's the point, right? Like if somebody cared when he said it, then it would mean something. But he's like, and he kicked the crap out of 2 people. And everyone's like, okay, cool.
They scan the gilding and they find out that there's 7 things in there. And the kid just goes, we just see instantly, he goes, we know it's music because he's a prodigy. So we're like, right. He figures it out. Charlotte's getting pissed off, and then he explains to her how happy she has been for the last 2 days. How happy she has been.
Did you see that?
She was never happy.
Is that the movie you've watched, Dan? No, because I have not seen her smile one time.
She literally has never been happy in this movie.
She is absolutely miserable.
Yep.
I am okay if she wants to be miserable, but has fun in spite of herself. You know what I mean? That's what we need to see is that she is enjoying the adventure, even though she doesn't want to. But we don't see that at all. We just see someone who's like, I hate being here. I don't want to be on set. I can't believe I'm doing this movie. I hate everything. It's not right.
It's got to be even harder when you have to do press for a movie like this. I tried to watch some of the press, but
oh God, did you really?
She leaves and then immediately returns, and then we find out that it's music, and we find out that it's called Waters in the Desert. Then we figure out that the 7 ancient wonders of the world. Then we find the map of them, and then we put the other thing over the map, and then we know exactly where to go.
And while I didn't understand everything that they said at this point, I don't care. Just get there. Let's just go, guys. I'm over this.
Esme goes to the Vatican, talks to Tucci. Tucci's like, we're the most powerful people in the world. You tried mercy with them.
Who are you?
But they're the protectors.
Okay. Who are you? What does that mean? Who are the protectors?
God made them.
So you think that this is like God's army?
Yeah.
But
they're not very good.
Except they're terrible. They're really bad at their jobs.
Mostly she just hires people that suck. Maybe it's just her. Maybe it's just her and Tooch.
See, I think she just hires people off the street to come and die for her.
That makes sense.
She's like, hey, God wants you to do this. And like, okay. And then they're dead.
How did she get back from the Lusitania? She explains it at some point.
Teleported.
So Tucci's like, you tried mercy. When did they try mercy? They were always...
When she didn't kill Natalie Portman? Maybe.
But machine guns. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, but they didn't hit anybody, right? They just were the scare tactic.
And we can't... This has to be hidden because it's too powerful. Okay. So
the key or the fountain at this point?
Sure.
The fountain.
It gives her like this magic key to use in case of emergency.
Okay.
Very good.
So now is that a fail-safe for the Fountain of Youth? Someone built in like a termination?
Yes, because they needed to have it all open for when humanity was ready.
For what?
For the power. To get the power.
Power? As far as I can tell, you don't get power.
No, they explained it. You get health, and wealth. No, you get 3 things. You get health, wealth, and beauty.
But you killed everyone you love.
Yeah.
So who's ever going to be ready for that? That's not humans aren't ready to kill everyone they love to become more powerful. What are you talking about?
This guy. I'll do it.
No, Dan, listen, you're going to be the guy that turns old immediately because all you care about is yourself, all right? That's the problem, right? So, the people that are willing to do that are the people that care about themselves. Boom, they're dead. The people that aren't willing to kill all of their loved ones are the people that it won't work for. So what are we trying to accomplish with the fountain?
There's some mix that they explained that I didn't understand where you can pull it off. Maybe
it doesn't make any sense.
Maybe the enlightened person, if you put Jesus down there, he'd be like,
so then nobody would die and he'd become powerful because he loves.
Yes.
But that doesn't make any sense because then he doesn't love anybody. It's not like he loves everybody. That means he loves nobody.
I don't know, man.
This fountain doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay. So they go to the center of the pyramid. Everybody's battling on the what's his name the rich guy's brought all these bodyguards, and then they're okay. So they're at the pyramids of Giza, right? They're in. Yep. I don't know if they must be in the big pyramid. I've been. I don't know. Of course, I've been there. World traveler.
Dan's been everywhere. Golly.
I tried to go to some of the good places while I still was young enough to get to them.
Smart.
There is no one there. We already talked about this a little.
Not a soul in sight. Yeah. No, but nobody else is there whatsoever.
It's the weirdest thing ever. And so
doesn't make any sense.
Eventually, the rich guy who is the bad guy, his people are fighting with the protectors, and they're fighting with Interpol, and they're using machine guns, and it's just the dumbest thing in the world.
Giant turret guns. They're not just machine guns, they are military grade defense systems. I don't understand.
But it's only pointing in one direction. If you walked up behind them.
Correct. Yeah, they would have just drove around the back of the pyramid and come up that way. They're fine. Nobody's there.
It's just so weird. And I mean, the pyramids are freaking huge. That whole.
Are you sure? They don't seem that big. I'm just
that whole.
tell you that now. It doesn't seem that big.
It's just like it's enormous. You have to ride camels to get places, and it
looks like maybe 2 blocks,
and it is right outside of town. It's not like an hour or 2 away. It's like
there's
right
no
outside
town
of
in the distance, Dan. It's empty desert for lots of miles. There's only one road in and out, from what I could tell, and the pyramid is like maybe 2 blocks at best.
Oh my god. The kid figures it out, and what do you have to do to get into the central tunnel down to the well?
I guess you play the bongos.
Those are called steel drums.
Steel drums, sorry. And then it floats.
This would have been the greatest movie ever if they'd had an octopus do that. I like this because it's about resonance, and they set up this resonance, where it's like
sorta,
and it causes this big heavy thing to sort of float, and they're able to move it out of the way.
But he stops playing the music, right?
I don't know.
I feel like he stopped playing the music, then she moved it because it was still floating. I was a little confused by it all.
It was visually and aurally interesting. I liked it.
For sure. I agree. I just think the timing it doesn't matter, but it felt like the timing was wrong because I was like, why is it still floating? It should have crashed to the ground by now.
What's that? Is that Little Mermaid? What's the Little Mermaid song?
That was the Little Mermaid.
It's close to it. Okay, they slide it out of the way. Murph steps in the way. Oh, Murph got shot to save Dad. Okay, that's good. They walk through this one hallway where there's all these paradoxical inscriptions. I keep getting these emails from Barack Obama, and they're titled, "I'd love to meet you."
Say yes. Oh my God, say yes.
I think he's been watching our videos, and I'm turning him on.
Say yes to the dress, my friend. Go meet Barack. Good guy. Good guy.
Okay. So there's paradoxical inscriptions. And then they find the tree of life at the end of
Are they paradoxical? It all sounds mostly just like, hey, don't do it.
I don't know.
That seems to be what they boiled down to.
They were just weird. It was like, I don't know. I couldn't write down the paradoxes. It's
basically like, if you drink, it'll be good and bad. And so you just don't do it. I don't know.
There's a tree of life carving. And then Charlotte's like, well, here's a marble. Maybe we'll just put that right in the middle and that'll open it.
Right down the chute, and then it goes to... And then it opens the door.
All these dimes come out. They're like, dimes! Right.
Jackpot!
Okay. Then there's this gigantic room. He cranks this little onk button, and then these stairs go.
It's the same symbol we've seen, but this one he's like, what if I turn this globe this time? As if he would know it's different than the last one. I don't know.
You mean he doesn't have to actually think or figure anything out? He just does a random thing and it works perfectly the first time?
Just touches a button and then it just goes. Yeah.
That looks like a button, but I'll turn it like a knob. I'm intelligent.
I did it. Kudos.
Out come all these stairs. They walk down there. I wrote, more characters shooting at each other that we don't care about. Okay.
Yeah, because they're just shooting outside, just over and over, shooting. It's ridiculous.
There's a beam of light because there's a hole now in the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then there's a little hole, and then what makes the hole sort of open? It just opens, I guess, the hole down to the fountain.
Yeah, sure.
So they open, and then they walk down some more stairs, and there's a little bit of water. Tony, what would be the first thing you would do if you had gotten to the fountain of youth at this point? At this point, what is the first thing you would do?
Drink. I'd drink it. I would drink all of it.
Would you really?
Yeah, because there's only a little bit left. I don't want anyone else to get it, so I'd drink it all.
No, I'm saying truthfully. What would you actually do?
I would take out my cell phone. I would take pictures. That would be the first thing I would do. It's weird that nobody ever takes out their cell phone and takes pictures of these very famous things. You know what I mean? Seems like a huge mistake.
I would go down there and fill a fucking vial full of the water.
Sure.
You have a fucking fountain of youth. That's what you're there. Isn't the idea you're going to put some in a bottle and then take it out and take it to a lab?
I would take my phone out, Dan. I would turn around and I do that weird pointy one. It's like, oh, and then I take a picture of me in the fountain. Yeah.
F of Y.
Hashtag.
Well, there we have two competing ideas, but both of them make perfect sense to me. Mine is like practical. This is,
sure, yours is the reason why we're there.
Why the fuck am I going to drink it? I mean,
bad idea.
I'm going to maybe drink it later, but.
Right. Once you see, I mean, Bill, what's his name in this movie?
Owen.
He plays Bill in Harry Potter. He's Bill Weasley. But the bad guy. Oh, we're being too loud?
No, we're not.
Oh, man, we got in trouble. Oh, we got in trouble again.
We got shushed.
We got shushed. It's too late in the evening.
Okay, the guy that plays Harry Potter in the Harry Potter movies.
So the guy who's in Harry Potter, he's like, hey, somebody drink it first. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
That's the move.
Yeah.
Don't be the guinea pig, right? Like, I'm all fully on board with his plan so far.
So what happens? Let's see. I wrote something down.
He's like, hey, Luke, go drink. And Luke's like, nah, dog, I'm not going to drink. And then he's like, well, I'm going to shoot you somewhere. And we're not totally sure where. And then he gets shot.
Around the arm.
Around the arm, chest hole area.
He goes down there. He drinks some of it.
He doesn't drink it. He almost drinks it. He's got it cupped in his hands, and then he has like a whole Lion King moment where he sees himself, and then maybe his dad, and then maybe his sister and her kid growing old, which is the visions he's been seeing this entire time, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, why would he have previsions? That doesn't make any sense.
But he has them. He has a bunch of them.
If he was psychic, I'd be like, oh, he's psychic.
He has some sort of power because he is having premonitions of the Fountain of Youth. And now that's the only reason he doesn't drink is he's like, well, maybe these visions have been real the whole time. Maybe God is, he's a prophet.
He's a prophet.
He's the prophet Luke. There you go. That's the ending of Fountain of Youth. He's God's prophet.
It's sandworm blood. Okay. He gets picked up by the water and he's having all these dreams and there's lightning.
Yeah, all weird.
He sees his face. He keeps seeing like his face young-ish, I guess.
Well, because that's the benefits is he will look younger because he's getting
he's
health,
not old,
wealth,
though.
beauty.
That's the whole thing.
Old.
He's not even close to old.
Well, but listen, once you're past 25, it's all downhill, buddy.
That's
okay.
the truth to that. He sees people getting old. His arm heals. Then he shoots them a bunch, and then
they all heal.
And then he gets free. Now, wait a second. So he didn't drink it?
He didn't drink it. That's why he survived.
Why did he heal?
Here's what I think is the real answer.
Yeah.
Is that the Fountain of Youth, if you drink it, is too much and will do bad things.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So if you refuse to drink it because you're not consumed by wealth, power, greed, whatever, it heals you or does something. But that doesn't make any real sense because Esme at the end is like, very few people could face the fountain and not drink. And then he's like, oh, so I'm impressive, which isn't true because it's not impressive because he's had visions the whole time that have told him that it's going to be bad if he drinks. So that's cheating, in my opinion. But that seems to be the way you're supposed to use it, maybe.
Oh, so you just go in there, you lay in it, and then you feel better.
I think so.
So
yeah.
I wonder if you could regrow a foot.
You want to try it?
Yeah, let's go.
I bet you could because those bullet holes just close up. In fact, he doesn't even seem to feel the bullet. Like he gets shot in the water and we cut back and he's got holes all the way through him. So they passed all the way through his body and he doesn't seem to care at all.
But I think you have to be injured for it to activate.
I mean, that makes sense. Because you have to
then Owen walks
the
out.
blood.
Did he drip blood into the water? Did that happen?
Yeah, he cuts his hand.
No. The first time when he got shot, did some of that blood go into the water?
So it shows a shot of blood dripping down his arm somehow because his shirt has no blood on it. So I don't know where it's coming from, but he does have blood that drips down his arm and goes into the water.
Okay, so Owen goes down there and he's all like, well, that's enough of a test for me. You're like,
which is
wait,
wrong,
what?
By the way, because I don't know what I just saw, so I'm not getting in that water yet.
So he cuts himself, drips it in there, gets grabbed. It takes about 1/10 the time this time. It's just like,
which is good because last time was way too long. There should have been a medium length for both. Yeah.
So he drinks it. And then he just shivers and he turns into dust.
Turns old
because he doesn't love anybody. So basically, the idea
just loves himself.
If you drink, you're going to get young and look.
You're stealing the youth of the ones you love. And if you love yourself, you're just basically taking your own essence and it dies.
Yeah. So Charlotte and the kid would have just died right while he's thin, and he'd have been young and he'd have been like cool.
He would have been young and powerful forever. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the fountain. That's their big take on the fountain of youth.
It's real dumb.
Oh, that's the thing. And then Esme uses the Stanley Tucci key, and then it starts, and everything starts shutting down. They all run up the stairs.
Here's my question, Dan. Why? Because she's actually too late. Both people have already used the fountain. The bad guy killed himself in the fountain.
They know where it is. Somebody knows where it is. So,
I guess that's true. They're still going to know where it is, though. It's just buried now. So now they just need more machinery.
They run out.
I don't know.
And then everybody's waiting, and then we do the she kisses him on
this weird moment where she's like, I'm very attracted to you, but if you try to steal more stuff, I'll kill you.
And there's actually a good joke where he's all like, oh, there's more stuff? Do you have a list?
Right.
That's a good joke.
Yes.
It's a good joke.
Yeah. It is a good joke, but that's it. There's just one in the whole movie, and it's the last line of the movie.
Little late.
It's about 2 hours and 1 minute late, I'll tell you that.
I wrote, I was glad because the kid didn't have asthma.
What a low bar.
And then I also said,
they didn't give the kid some sort of impediment, so kudos to them.
And this is the line I would have given the kid at the end. Goodbye, Uncle Luke. Thanks for not killing me.
Yeah. That would have been good.
That's the
line. I would have liked it a lot.
There you go. That's anything else you want to say about this movie, Tony? Because we've been...
they set it up for a sequel, so fingers crossed. Let's get a sequel.
Oh I can't even begin to tell you how happy that would make me be. This movie, it clips along. It didn't feel super long to me, but then again, the action scenes you just check out because you're just like,
it's not engaging. And I read a bunch of articles this week.
Yeah.
And it's all, it's this second screen viewing nonsense. And they're all like, the reason why they say things multiple times is because they expect you to be doing something else or checking your phone. And it's like, even with that, those aren't even my problems with the movie. My problem with the movie is that nobody's charming. There's no good character work. The plot is stupid. I'm not having that much fun. Like the thing that this movie's missing is any sort of fun. You can still dumb it down and have fun. I just don't agree that that's necessary.
It's like, is it that much easier to make a second screen movie than it is to make a movie?
It doesn't seem like it. It seems like they're purposely working against themselves to make it worse. That's what it feels like.
It's this sort of dopey idea where you're like, well, excuse my terrible movie. It's a second screen movie. You're really not supposed to be watching it. You're really not supposed to ever want to watch it a second time.
Well, mission accomplished. I will never watch this a second time.
And there's so many movies that have much lower budget that you're like, I'm going to buy physical media of that. I'm going to watch this every year.
1,000,000%.
If you made an action figure of that, I'm going to buy that action. It's like, like making a movie that's mediocre and then acting like that was your plan. I do not believe that is the plan.
No.
I know that they want it to be a minimum of that, but the plan is not for it to only be that.
Right. Like that's like the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
They're like, we won't even make this movie unless it's at least this. And you're like, well, sure, I can clear that by nothing. Just ride that line perfectly all the way through. Mediocrity at its best there, you know?
Now we talk about something we liked this week. I watched the show Department Q. I don't know if I talked about this last time.
I think you mentioned it because that sounds familiar.
I think I'd watched one or two. Scottish mystery.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just, you just watch something like that. It's 9 episodes. I got a little confused because of the characters a couple of times, but just so much good acting. And there's like this one turn where his life is just miserable, and then he just has one tiny positive thing. Not tiny. I mean, it was an important thing, but you were just like, one good thing happens to him, and you were just like, there it is.
Yeah,
he's in the groove. He's earned that one good thing happening by slogging through all this shit. And that's the thing about this movie is these characters didn't slog through any shit.
They almost go through nothing. Nobody cares about anything that they do. Like there's no consequences to any of their actions. There's nothing.
Indiana Jones is covered in dust and blood.
Yes. Yeah, because they get the shit kicked out of themselves. Like, they're not having a good day. Sure, they win at the end, but, like, it's not easy. It is not easy.
My favorite Marvel thing is the Hawkeye series. And there's one point at which he goes back and has to, like, he actually teaches the new Hawkeye how to apply bandages to all their cuts and bruises.
Oh, interesting.
And you're just like, this is the reality of it. It's not like we're degraded, nothing can hurt us. No, it's like you getting the shit beat out of you and you going out there the next day because you got to get something done. And that whole show is about everybody in that thing wants something. They all desperately want something. He wants to get back to his family. She wants to be Hawkeye. Yelena wants to avenge her sister. These are big characters with big wants. This movie, why are you doing this? Well, sir, our family name. What are you talking about?
And they talk about their dad with such reverence that I just don't feel like they have a bad family name.
And we didn't,
right?
I don't know who that dad is.
Well, no, we don't know.
We don't meet him. We don't understand him. We don't know who he is, what he is, where he stands in the world. No one ever says, "Oh my God, your dad." They don't ever deal with anything about who this dad might mean.
Which is interesting because National Treasure, that is also the motivation because everyone has turned on them in the historical community they call them quacks. Like we see it happen. Yeah. And I believe there's a point where Nicolas Cage is like, I think he says something like, I'm glad I'm not crazy like everyone thought my dad and my granddad and my great-granddad. Like there's a joke about it where his whole family lineage has been like laughed at in the community and he's finally vindicated. I'm pretty sure that happens.
Yeah. This is real. These are real things, Yeah. And I think in the third Indiana Jones movie where Sean Connery comes and plays his dad, there's a bunch of stuff about that because his dad has been searching for whatever. Oh, the Last Supper goblet.
The
chalice. And he spent his, and he's just like, he's become his dad, but he still kind of has problems with how his dad was his dad.
Yep.
Wow, it's almost like
that's life right there.
There we have some stuff that a character has to fucking chew on.
Yeah.
No. I'm just doing a thing.
Not for this movie. Second screen viewing, everybody. Don't worry about it.
Tony, what did you like this week?
I'll give you a hint. Are you ready? You're never going to get it. You ready? That is the sound they make when you come back from commercial. On Love Island USA, it's back, everybody. The best time of the year. We are 4 episodes in. Oh, boy. I'm having a blast.
Is Love Island your favorite one in Love Island US?
So, well, oh, boy, they're all a little bit different. You know, it's tough. The UK is like the OG. Yeah. But sometimes I have a hard time understanding what they're saying. Which is like very American of me. I know. My problem with the USA one is all the people are so shitty. Like, we are the worst people in the world, without a doubt.
It's easiest to find the most horrible people in the world in America.
Yeah, like, they're always so terrible. And, like, every show has a couple of people that are like, oh, man, this guy's garbage. I can't wait to watch what he goes through. But the USA is always like, where do they find all these shit people? And it just turns out everywhere, like, we're just not great people, which makes great television, but also makes me sad at the same time. So maybe Australia, maybe that's my favorite of the Love Islands. But because they all seem like pretty genuinely nice people, and they're just like, good day, mate, let's go surfing. I like them. You know, But anyhow, it's USA time. UK starts on the 12th, but we're not going to watch it live. Because we got to stick with USA.
I was watching one of the shows I watched, and they were talking about reality TV, and they were talking about how reality TV where the people are good is the really most powerful reality TV. Sure. The other stuff gets watched plenty, but you know,
for the wrong, not even the wrong reasons. It is why they make it, but it's trash. But we have fun.
It is trash. So this week, Shannon got to pick the movie.
Shout out to Shannon.
I had like 4 or 5 movies, and I was like, which of these should I do? And she's like, okay, this is what you're going to do.
This is the one.
She hasn't had a pick since we did Blue Lagoon, which was pretty classic.
Wild.
Pretty classic. So this one's, you know, a little bit in the past.
Yeah, okay.
But it's one of your favorite actors.
Oh, okay.
Tom Cruise.
TC.
Playing another mythical monster.
Playing a mythical monster. Are vampires mythical? Is that what we're doing? Are we doing Interview with the Vampire? Oh boy, we have to watch Kirsten Dunst kiss a grown man. Oh man, it's gonna be weird. All right.
I don't think I've ever seen this movie. I think I watched.
You've never seen this movie? Oh boy,
this was the 90s, probably, right? Yeah, I told you.
It was the 90s.
A lot of things in the 90s I didn't do.
I believe I've only seen this in the 90s, and I think my takeaway was snooze fest. So I'm excited to see what it looks like as an adult.
Yeah, so we're going to see every teen girl's dream. Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt.
The problem is, like, I watched Lost Boys as the kid growing up. So then it was like, oh, vampire movie, and it's not the same kind of vampire movie.
This is not a vampire movie for teen boys whatsoever.
No, it is not. Yes. All right, I'm excited to see this as an adult.
It'll be interesting to sort of go back there and look at it through our weird
pick,
eyes.
Shannon, well done.
She knows how to pick them. So we'll be back. If you like what you do, give us a comment, a thumbs up, or leave or subscribe.
Subscribe.
This is going to be our longest episode ever, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, we had tech difficulties, but we're over 2 hours for sure.
This might be a 2-hour episode.
This movie deserved it. All right.
Tony was angry. This movie,
I was
absolutely not the worst movie we've seen, but just wrong-headed in every way.
Wasted potential on all fronts. It could have been great. I was excited for it. Really missed the mark.
See you later.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch it!